Making difficult decisions is never easy, is it? And when we have never-ending options, as well as the complexity that they foster, it makes us feel that sense of stress and overwhelm. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 steps to saying bye-bye to overwhelm. Indecision can be a massive drain on your time, but also on your nerves and resources. Because when you get into that cycle of fear and procrastination, it's because you either have too many choices to make, or you're just stuck and you don't want to make a choice. And that then leads you to further procrastination and you end up in this cycle of defeat. So let's look at the first step of figuring out and being clear on what you truly want. Making a difficult decision can be challenging, can't it? So make a list of your options and weigh out the pros and cons, because you have to get clear on the outcome that you want to reach. What do you hope to achieve and why? And answering this question will help you clearly identify your targets, but also streamline and structure that decision-making process. One way to do this is to visualize your goals and make sure that they are in alignment with your core values. For instance, if you were offered a job that involved a lot of travel and really what you wanted was to spend and gain more time with your family, then clearly those two things are out of alignment. And so getting clear on your why and what you want to do and how you would like to have your lifestyle be complemented with those core values is the first step in gaining clarity. The second step for how to make a difficult decision would be identify and evaluate your options. Because once you identify the outcomes that you hope to reach, take that time to think about all the options at your disposal, both the obvious and the not so obvious. Some options may look good at first glance, but then you may even feel that pressure or feel tempted to go a certain route. When you're evaluating your options, it's essential that you take that step back so that you can look at the potential pros and cons. And I always do a brainstorm on a piece of paper so that I have a hard copy of the viable options, the things that may or may not work for me, and I take an objective approach so that with that brainstorming process, I am able to narrow down and evaluate what makes the most sense to me and actually what feels great in my gut. Third step, weigh the pros and cons. So now it's the time to weigh those pros and cons that I was talking about of every possibility and every option available to you. So create that list that accounts for every detail, big or small, regarding your decision, including the upsides and the downsides of each option, the consequences, and the potential outcome. When making a difficult decision, you might have a preferred option in mind, or a colleague or friend might be swaying you in one direction. But it's important to write those things down and put that under scrutiny so that you are using an objective mindset when you approach these difficult decisions. One of my most recent difficult decisions was that I had a few opportunities in different contracts to either take on or to massage that would work my schedule better. And so I really had to write every single thing down and work it so that it fit with my core values, so that I had the pros and cons objectively laid out and under scrutiny. And then I felt so good with the decisions that I most recently made. The final fourth step to say bye-bye to being overwhelmed is assess the outcome and revise as needed. After you choose the option with the least consequential drawbacks, or the one with the most advantages, it's time to develop appropriate metrics to measure the success of that decision and its outcome. If the result is not as satisfactory as you had anticipated, then you can always revise your plan and fine-tune your strategy as needed. With that said, not every decision you choose will prove to be the most successful or worthwhile. But really, it could be a complete failure, and it's how you actually deal with your mindset and approach these failures, if that's the case, that will determine your outcome and your altitude in life. Really taking it as a learning process, because every decision you make isn't going to be perfect. We are all flawed by being human. And so really learn to take a proper process, use these 4 steps in your decision-making process to help you with difficult and tough decisions when you're making them. And I hope this will allow you to stop agonizing over decisions and make them more easily approachable with this 4-step process. I really appreciate all your comments and your time, and thank you for watching this video.